What's up, solutionaries? I am Maj Toure. Welcome to the Maj Toure Show, where we go over politics, pop culture, all of the stuff, including the bread and circuses, and we turn it into solutionaries for you all because we are solutionaries. What's up, everybody? Had a great weekend. I hope you all did. Got a lot of work done. Got more work to do. Kind of like went into a sabbatical, went into fundraising mode, still on fundraising mode. I want everybody, before we even get into that, I want everybody to shout out where you at. Y'all know how this go. Smash the like button. Let's help boost the algorithm. All that other good stuff, right? Make sure you also subscribe and hit that post notification button on whatever platform you're watching this on. If you're on x.com/@Maj2Ray999. Follow me, subscribe, turn your post notifications on. If you're watching this on Rumble or YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe, because the vast majority of you that watch the content and consume the content are not subscribed. So help us out with the algorithm a whole lot so we can keep bringing you all this fly-ass content every Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Went here this weekend, went on a heavy fundraising, drive. Still pushing. Guys, it's difficult. I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. Big Rob, what's up? Hey, everybody that's coming into the chat, make sure you give some chats. Also, if you guys have some questions, want to promote something, anything like that, we try to get 10 folks to give $20 towards the super chat. Helps out a whole lot. This weekend was interesting because I kind of like stayed in and focused on fundraising and content creation. And I want to make sure that we're leaning more in that direction, because there's a lot of things that people need a breakdown on. Psychologically, what's happening politically, culturally in America. There's a lot of things that my skill set is to be able to translate a lot of the shit. And a lot of the shit needs to be translated because it's wild. Whether that's entitlement. And we're going to go into that tonight. We got, what's his name? Brett something. I forget the guy's name. What's his name? Hold on, y'all. I'll figure it. Brian Selter. Selter or some shit like that. Right? You guys will see it. And these are the types of things that need to be broken down from a very, very psychological perspective. It's a lot of clowns, a lot of clownery, a lot of goofery. As Big Rob just said, want to get some goofery out early. Heard Kamala was doing Five Guys today. No word that she's actually going to a burger spot. That's funny. Get it? Trump did the whole McDonald's thing. You guys get it? Ba-doom-ps. Right? Again, guys, these are things that need to be discussed. So today I came across something with our good brother, Shermichael Singleton. If you're not familiar with Shermichael, I think his ex is Mr. Shermichael. I added him earlier today. So if you follow me on X, you'll see that I added him. Just check the replies. But anyway, he was on a show. And on this show, there was a high level of arrogance and entitlement that came from one of the other, cast members, not cast member, but persons on the panel. His name was Brian Selter. And I want to play this video for y'all real quick so y'all can see when I say the level of goofery and arrogance and the things that are associated, that I think we could do ourselves a service if we're more right of center, if we identify as right of center, or if you even identify as just a dude, a human. You should be able to kind of like articulate, or recognize when you're articulating some like really, really out of touch shit. Okay. And this happened in this particular episode. And I want you guys to watch it. And I'll tie all of this in because we got Larry David. What is it? Some other TV show put this out with Larry David going in on Trump. And I think that's an overall thought that we have to get to the root of. Right? What's up, Bookworm? How are you? It's a general thought that we have to get to. So I'm going to get straight to it, y'all. I want y'all to watch this video and let's comment and talk about it a little bit. You know what I mean?
You want to agree with it or not? And I have my differences with the former president on whether or not we should support Ukraine. But a lot of Americans look at how much money we've allocated to Ukraine. And a lot of people wonder, why are we spending so much money on this conflict?
I get that. I get that, but you're skipping over the main part, which is that he said Zelensky should not have let the war start. Zelensky didn't start the war. Who
No, I agree with that. Putin obviously started the war.
Yeah,
I'm not
so
negating that. My point is that a lot of people look at how much money we've spent on this conflict, and they're asking themselves, my roads are crumbling, my schools suck, we just had major disasters across the country, FEMA doesn't have enough money allocated.
By the way, I don't live in that country.
For a lot of
I don't live in that country, by the way. America's not that horrible.
Brian, if you get out of New York and talk to regular people.
I don't live in New York.
No,
I live in a normal city, in a normal town. My roads are not. I love New York, but my roads are not crumbling. My schools don't suck. I just get tired of the anti-America.
Maybe you're fortunate enough to put your kids in darn good schools, but there are a lot. No, let me finish
public
here.
Schools
there are a
in
lot of people in this country
I just think all
who
the
aren't wealthy,
anti-America
who
stuff
don't
is
live
so
in great cities,
tiring.
who do have to send their kids to terrible schools. That is a fact because of their zip codes.
True,
and to sit here
Obama
arrogantly
years,
and say, well, my
Trump
kids
years,
go to
true,
great
Biden
schools.
years.
I live in a great neighborhood. That's your experience.
The roads
not the
are
experience
crumbling.
of most people in this country.
I mean,
come on, bro.
Come on, bro. Listen, y'all tell me what y'all think. The level of tone deafness is wild. All right? If you're coming into the chat, make sure you hit the like button, all that other good stuff. The tone deaf levels is wild out here. Main man is in here like, oh, the schools are, my roads aren't crumbling. My, the entitlement. One of my favorite presidents of all time was John F. Kennedy. And what he said was, ask not what you can do, what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And I just really thought that I used to did not understand that line. I just was like, what? The country's supposed to be working for me. And as I got older, the country wouldn't work for you unless you worked for the country. If you defended the values, if you defended the things that America's supposed to be based on, hard work, perseverance, virtuousness, limited government. If you work hard to make sure that you're exhibiting and living those characteristics, then the country will start to reflect that back towards you. But I didn't understand that years ago. But when we hear this thought process like, where I live is okay. So I'm tired of just hearing this thing and, my roads aren't like that. My streets aren't like that. Yeah, that's you, because it's self-centered. I live in Philly. It's potholes all. Philadelphia is consistently the 5th or 6th largest city in America, population-wise. We go back and forth sometimes with like Phoenix, right? We got horrible roads in Philly. And that's before I get to places when we go in, in other parts of the country. I mean, I can't take my RV here, this bridge. We clearly have an infrastructure problem as it relates to bridges. A boat bumped into a few bridges over the winter, if y'all want, media's not talking about it anymore. But the whole bridge fell the fuck down. The whole bridge. Okay? Bridges are old. It's not a whole lot of new bridges in America. My point in saying that is we do have infrastructure problems. And the point that Shermichael was making was the American people are starting to go, hey, not only am I not as distracted because, the money's flowing. When the economy's good, people are happy. So you might not pay as much attention. That may be backwards in some areas, because you should always pay attention. But generally, when the economy's flowing, people may not be thinking about it that much. Now that the economy's a little bit tighter, now more people are going, hold up. And then y'all know that another $400 million was sent to Ukraine today. Y'all know that the last time we spoke, Thursday, last week, they had sent $425 million to Ukraine in arms packages last week. So I want you to be very clear. 400 million today, or I want to say yesterday, right? And then last week, $425 million. That's $825 million in resources and money. That's almost $1 billion in a week. Mind you, the situation in North Carolina, the Appalachian Appalachian Mountains, West Virginia, Florida, certain parts of Tennessee, is still not cool. So Shermichael's point about, there's people in America that's like questioning, okay, even if regardless of where you land on it, right? Regardless of where you land on it, you are starting to question, should we be sending so much money over to this situation? And he's right. And then they got, the America that I live in isn't that. You guys got to pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Come on, man. America's great. No, America's not in the space. We are literally in stagflation. You get hyperinflation, you get inflation, then you get hyperinflation, then you get stagflation. We're in a recession. This by all financial metrics. So when these people get on there and say these things, like it's almost low-key tantamount to when the black community said for eons, hey, the police and the system is corrupt and it's targeting us unnecessarily. My white homies that was in North Philly understood that perfectly. Do you know why? Because they were in the same city. They dressed like me. They looked like me, and they was getting projected. That same BS was being projected onto them as well. Okay? So the white dudes that was in Philly, or my hardcore working class blue collar white homies in Baltimore, in Detroit, in DC, in whatever, Cali, LA, right? They going like, yeah. Everybody, those types of people were like, come on, guys, come on. It's not that. Come on. And then the people that wanted to be like tapped in, that wanted to ride them coattails, the black folks that maybe either wasn't of that culture, didn't experience it, or I think a lot of them knew, but they wanted to pretend like that wasn't what it was so they could get to, yeah, see, even they said, Brandon Tatum says it's not that bad. The police aren't, blah, 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 blah. Those people will say that, right? Then fast forward a few years, and the Department of Justice is targeting President Donald Trump before he was president, while he was president, and after, and even as he runs again. My point in saying, now it's like, let's try to shoot him twice. When you're out of touch, you don't listen to the people that give you the information. I'll give you guys a great example, and I want to move on to the next video. Real quick, though, guys. Again, if you don't know, I am Maj Toure. You're watching the Maj Toure Show every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about politics, pop culture, bread and circuses, but we turn it into solutions because we are solutionaries. Go ahead and make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. If you're watching this on x.com, follow me, send me some recipes, shoot me a DM, all that other good stuff. It makes a lot of difference. I want everybody that's consuming the content to be subscribers to the content and share it all over the place. I want to talk real briefly about, I went to Poppin' Politics. Shouts to the ladies over at the Poppin' Politics podcast. I was down there on Friday in Baltimore, and I did just a little presentation for them, talking to the people. It was a meet and greet. It was really, really cool, right? Huge shouts to the business bully. Huge shouts to Chad, I think Chad Jackson. I think it's Chad O. Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, he was there. Chad challenged me on something that I said, and about a year or so ago, maybe 2 years now, right? I said to Reason, on Reason, an interview I did with Reason Magazine, I said, black people are going to save America from Joe Biden, right? That's what I said to him. And I said it, and he made some content saying like, that's not going to happen. Black people are not going to get enough behind Donald Trump to whatever. So I saw Chad over the weekend because we both were speakers at this event. And as soon as Chad, and huge shouts to Chad for this. As soon as Chad got on the stage, because his word was culture. Each one of us had a word. My word was the Constitution. Sidebar, if you don't have a Constitution, you need to. I want to get these made with the solutionary logo on it. But anyway, my word was the Constitution. The business bully's word was entrepreneurialism or entrepreneur. And Chad's word was culture. And I went last, and Chad, was before me. Or he was first, I think. Or first or second. But anyway, he got up there and he said, my word is culture. And I'm probably the least cultured person in the room. He said, I'm especially not as cultured as Maj Toure here. And Maj Toure, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, said that I made some content saying that Maj Toure was wrong about saying that black people are going to save America from Joe Biden, indicating that black people are not going to vote Democrat by and large. And he said, I was wrong. All I can hear is more and more black people, Asian people, Spanish people, Latin people, all of them saying, I'm not going Kamala. I'm voting Trump. All across the country. That ability to have your ear to the street, that ability to, first, again, this is not a diss to Chad, right? he acknowledged and said, I was wrong. Maj was right. And we chopped it up after the event. But anyway, the ability to have your ear to the street, as I told him, I said, I have a cheat code because I'm in all of the cities a year or two before the elections happen. And I'm asking people questions. And when those people ask me the questions, I say what I think. And then I ask them questions. And if I ask a bunch of people on O Block, if I'm in Chicago, or if I'm on Lehigh Avenue in North Philly, and the straightforward, most, direct dudes, street dudes is like, I'm not fucking with her. I'm riding with Trump. I remember 2020, my guy, King Erna, I was filming for that same Reason interview. He was out at Broad and Lehigh. And I ran into him. We started chopping up. He's like, yeah, I got to go Trump, baby. King Erna has done state time, fed time. He's, managed AR ad, Leak Moss, all of that, right? It's a homie of mine. So when I hear these things, because my ear is to the street, it would make sense for everybody to listen to that culture that's saying this is going in this direction. When all of the celebrities are now, because the celebrities, a lot of them got their ear to the street. Some of them are visionaries and some of them catch on after the visionaries. Kanye was a visionary going, I'm going Trump, when nobody from the urban demographic, or at least wanted to publicly in the urban demographic, wanted to go that direction, right? Maybe a few. But then when it starts to look, okay, sometimes people got to find out what you already know. But if you are tied into the street and you paying attention to your ear to the ground because your brand, your money, your livelihood, your children's legacy are tied into you getting ahead of the curves, you would do well to pay attention to that person. So when we as a community were saying this whole time, the system is rigged, and people wanted to point the finger at us and go, you just don't want to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, right? Then when it happens to Trump, he gets weaponized from the Department of Justice. We go, yeah, we was telling you. When we were saying the gun control is racist and the Panthers, it was way before the Panthers. But when we saying they changing these rules because they don't want black people to, yeah, this ain't new to us, but it's true to us. Okay? So when you have somebody like Shermichael in this scenario saying, Shermichael's a journalist and a political analyst. He's a sharp dude. We follow each other. I know Shermichael. He's a sharp dude. So when he's evaluating, and he's pretty objective, right? When he's evaluating and going, a lot of Americans are saying, hey, we do not want all of this money. We questioning all of this money going over there. And you have this entitled, arrogant, fucking response because you're tired of hearing it. Just because you're tired of hearing it does not mean that it doesn't exist. And it's so fucking fake ass elitist. It's so like, oh my God. Oh, I'm just tired of hearing my public schools are fine. Yours are. When the outliers are presented as the standard, more than likely you're wrong. I'm going to say that again. When your outlier, and it could be true for your anecdotal lived experience, okay? When the outlier is being presented as the standard and you're doing that, you're probably wrong. What are most Americans feeling? And this isn't an attack on America. It goes, something's got to give. Something's got to give. Let me scroll up and get some of these super chats. Darth Smithius with the first super chat at $19.99. Appreciate you there, brother. Hey, listen, guys, if you are giving a super chat, I want everybody to make sure you name a business. Give me a shout out too. That's great. But name a business, name something, name an organization, or it's just something that, you can put their website up, or somebody that you think is doing, a really cool job. Thank you for that, Darth Smithius. Bookworm says, yeah, that's true. Maj is mostly right. I said this a long time ago. I remember one of my very, very favorite couples in the Second Amendment community, Danny and Cheryl Todd. I want everybody to go to Pot of Gold Auctions. Shouts to Super Weapons for the $2 super chat. He says, shut up, you pores. That's what this guy sounds like, right? I I was talking to Cheryl Todd and of Cheryl Todd and Danny Todd of formerly of AZ Firearms, but now Pot of Gold Auctions. I was over there, and Pot of Gold Auctions took care of me over in Phoenix, and took care of the lodging over at what's it called, the Wigwam. If you're ever in Phoenix, like the Avondale area, you got to go to the Wigwam, man. That's a really nice, quaint boutique hotel. It's been around since the 20s. I love it. I love going there. But anyway, I told Cheryl in 2019, going into 2020's election, I said, Joe Biden's going to win. And she looked at me like, Maj, if you don't stop it, I said, Joe Biden's going to win. Joe Biden won for the same reason that Donald Trump won. It seemed as if it was impossible. So as everybody's getting this comfort that, oh, Trump's super up right now, don't fall victim to that. We haven't solved the whole election integrity problem. Okay? Don't let your arrogance and your elitism and your false ego lead you to not pay attention to what people are telling you that got their ear to the street. If Patrick Bet-David can have somebody on his show and he can hack into a Dominion voting machine on air, this is not me just saying it. He's done it. It's on Valuetainment. He goes on air, has the guy on, and he hacks into a Dominion voting machine right there in front of everybody. Don't tell me about there can't be any election fraud. Your arrogance might make you think that just because the guy that you want, because the other person is so horrible, is up. You got to pay attention to that. You got to pay attention to that, man. Do not pretend as if everything's okay. Be hopeful. Show gratitude, right? But you got to work hard, man, and you got to stay on top of this shit. You got to stay on top of it. So let's play this again. To everybody who's just coming in, I want to run this back. I want everybody to look at this again, and then we're going to go to the Larry David situation, because this is more of that level of entitlement that we got to make sure that we're rooting out of ourselves as solutionaries. It is a disgusting arrogance that 1,000% will get you lost in the sauce every single time. Let's play it again real quick, guys.
Want to agree with it or not, and I have my differences with the former president on whether or not we should support Ukraine. But a lot of Americans look at how much money we've allocated to Ukraine, and a lot of people wonder, why are we spending so much money on this conflict? When is it going to end?
I get that, but you're
skipping
skipping over the main part, which is that he's
let the black man speak.
Zelensky should not have let the war start. Zelensky didn't start the war.
I agree with that. Putin obviously started the war.
Yeah,
I'm not negating that. My point is that a lot of people look at how much money we've spent on this conflict, and they're asking themselves, my roads are crumbling, my schools suck, we just had major disasters across the country, FEMA doesn't have enough money allocated.
By the way, I don't live in that country. I don't live in that country, by the way. America's not that horrible.
Brian, if you get out of New York and talk to regular people.
I don't live in New York. I live in a normal city, in a normal town. My roads are not. I love New York, but my roads are not crumbling. My schools don't suck. I just get tired of the anti-America.
Maybe you're fortunate enough to put your kids in darn good schools, but there are a lot. No, let me finish
public
here.
Schools
there are a lot of people in this country
I just think all
who
the
aren't wealthy,
America
who
stuff
don't
is
live
so
in great
tiring.
cities, who do have to send their kids to terrible schools. That is a fact because of their zip codes. And to sit here arrogantly and say, well, my kids go to great schools. I live in a great neighborhood. That's your experience.
The roads are crumbling.
Most people in this country.
Come on, bro.
It's Bookworm just said it must be so nice to be that sheltered. Now, I'm going to argue what I'm going to say. I think the entitled Brian Selter, I think that's his name, was trying to say. He's saying, hey, man, don't rag on America. We're not the worst. We're the best. The best in what? The schools do suck. And here's the ironic part. Everybody unequivocally agreed that the schools sucked for some time now, right? Then we get everybody now somehow wanting to defend the schools for whatever their reason is. Trump gets on Fox and Friends in the morning and says, I want to get rid of the Department of Education. Now the same pro-black folks that was like, oh no, the schools ain't teaching us shit. Now they're like, he wants us to be gone. He wants us to be dumb. The Department of Education, when, what's his name that created it? In 1972, what's his name? Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter created that America went from first in education to like 42nd. Come on, bro. 42nd. So the best in what exactly? Entertainment? Hip hop? We don't need the Department of Education for that. So when we're seeing people articulate this thing, the lack of intellectual consistency because of the entitlement, because of the bubble, because of the I am sheltered, and not listening to the people that's got their ear to the street. This is how you run into this separated, detached, non-based in reality situation. Man, Baltimore can't get a kid through there without, come on, man. They just pushing them through, and they graduate in high school reading at a 7th, 8th grade level. This ain't new conversation. The great Walter E. Williams discussed this before his death years ago. Okay? So we have to pay attention to these things. It's very important. We have to acknowledge this, or you wind up listening. You're so separated and you're so detached that you wind up sounding like this.
Baby. That he's thrown let's play it. Years of democracy.
Let's go back.
Flowed from it, pissed you off.
Oh, I mean, you can't go a day without thinking about what he's done to this country because.
All right, let me stop. Let me stop for a second, y'all. Let me give y'all some context. This is from about a week ago. Whatever this ABC or whatever it is, they pulled this footage out of Larry David having a discussion about Trump. Now, I seem to remember Larry David being on Saturday Night Live with Trump sometime back. But nonetheless, this is Larry David and his perspective. This is final boss level of arrogant, elite, white liberal male, beta. This is the final boss level. And let me be very clear. Curb Your Enthusiasm, maybe to the exception of the last season, because I think the final season was a little weak. But Curb Your Enthusiasm is one of my favorite shows of all time. I want to be very clear. I think it's hilarious. Okay? So I want to run it back and let you guys hear who he's talking about. I wanted to give y'all some context on that. Okay? Now let's listen.
Everything that has flowed from it pissed you off.
Oh, I mean, you can't go a day without thinking about what he's done to this country because he's such a little baby that he's thrown 250 years of democracy out the window by not accepting the results of I mean, it's so crazy. He's such a sociopath. He's so insane. He just couldn't admit to losing. And we know he lost. He knows he lost. And look how he's fooled everybody. He's convinced all these people that he didn't lose. He's such a sick man.
Man, mad as shit. Listen. So it's not the general public initially agreed and supported Trump. Before Trump ran for president, y'all know this talking point. He was beloved by a whole lot of people, right? Then the media machine made him be whatever he was, right? Or what they said he should be, right? Now, Trump single-handedly has destroyed 200 and some odd years of democracy. See, this is where they play the game with y'all. This is where they try. This is why you tap into solutionary. Or the Maj Touré show. So Maj Touré can give you the solutionary protocol. The game is they set the narrative up the wrong way from the gate. We have never been a democracy. We are a constitutional republic, if you can keep it. Shouts to Ben Franklin. Okay? That's what it is. It is a threat to mob rule and a strengthening of the individual. The smallest republic is the individual. So they structure these words when they say them like this, the Larry Davids of the world, because these people aren't stupid. They are either evil geniuses or idiot savants. Either way, it's a little bit of intelligence in either. Okay? So they'll say something like, he's destroyed our democracy. It's not a fucking democracy. Democracy means it's 10 of us, 7 of us want to do this, 3 of y'all want to do that. We doing this, and y'all got to do this. That's called mob rule. We practice the democratic process in a constitutional republic where the individual sovereign citizen, sovereign being, aka also known as a citizen, that individual's rights, they get to express them. But just because y'all want to do that and I want to do this, I am not going to get like chastised by I don't have to. Okay. We go through the democratic process to make sure that the resources are allocated to those in need, the majority in that regard. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you try to package this thing, because you notice they all say this, democracy, democracy, right? So because someone does not want to go along with what you think the greater good is, now he has to be packaged as the villain. If they can start your thought process from that incorrect footing, the rest of the game is rigged. The rest of the game is rigged because you're fighting from a position that you shouldn't be fighting from in the first place. Let's continue a little bit.
He's so sick. Anyway, no, it hasn't impacted me at all.
How do you?
So stop. He's so sick. He's horrible. He's this. He's that. He's what he's done to this country. Evil, evil, evil. He's sick. He's a psychopath. But no, I'm so rich that it doesn't bother me at all. It hasn't affected me in any way. You see? The out of touch arrogance. This is the final boss of beta, simp, democratic, non-constitutional, no civic understanding, leaning on the government type of people. They are not frenemies. They are ignorant people. I am more concerned about a person that is ignorant to consequences, ignorant to what happens, ignorant to life. That it's like boxing somebody that doesn't know how to throw a jab. They'll throw like a weird ass punch. You used to jabs, hooks, crosses, you uppercuts, right? That type of person that's that arrogant or entitled is dangerous. So you can't even really call him a frenemy. You just gotta watch him. You just gotta go, oh, okay, I see what they on. I ain't really on that. Okay? But look at Larry David. The question was, these things that happened in America, they piss you off. Look at what he's done to this country. One person, never mind the fact that out of the last 16 years, how many of those years was a Republican in charge? Like, these are the things that you have to step back from the elephant solutionaries and strategically attack when they make these talking points. But they tell on themselves and then go, but it hasn't hurt me in any way. So you're upset because you have whatever Seinfeld money you got and Curb Your Enthusiasm money, right? All of those things, right? You say all of these horrible things at how it's destroyed the country that you live in, but then turn immediately around and do a 180 and say, no, it has not affected me at all. And I don't think that was tongue in cheek on his part. The Freudian slips and the micro expressions are things that we have to pay attention to. Let's look a little bit longer.
Wrap your head around the fact that he could very well be reelected president. I mean, right now, I'd say he's the favorite.
He's it's such an amazing con man. He has such a gift for lying and fooling people and convincing people of something that's a complete lie.
But the point is, millions and millions and millions of Americans, more so than 3 years ago, they buy it.
They buy it. It's a testament to his conning abilities. He's the greatest con man we've ever produced. Yeah.
So it's in no way, shape, or form. And again, y'all know I'm a libertarian. This ain't me acting as if one president is going to save us. It's not. We can analyze that some are better at negotiation than others. And I want somebody that can negotiate well with OPEC nations. I'm not mad at that. An oil producing nation, if you get me a better deal on a number, the world's resources are moved with petroleum. And if we got good oil prices, prices get lower. So I'm not knocking it, but I want to be very clear that this person is not taking a solutionary, objective, nuanced approach to this. This person said, the interviewer said, you got to recognize that millions upon millions of Americans are in alignment with what he's saying. It just can't possibly be that he's a better suited leader for the monster that we call the United States government. And maybe even limiting government based on his own arrogance. Right? Because if I'm in a room full of kids, my friends are monsters. I got to be a monster to lead monsters, right? So it can't be that. It can't be that he's better suited to lead these dudes, and to his level of arrogance and his level of right? Engaging with other world leaders might turn out better for the economy. And more Americans are starting to align with that. It can't be that. It definitely has to be that somehow Donald Trump, 70-something-year-old ass, has thrown a con. He's this level of magician that he's thrown a con over the entire populace of all of those millions of Americans that can't possibly, in the democracy, be practicing the democratic process of evaluating what people say and do in the legislation that they've been a part of and have landed on Donald Trump. It cannot be that. It's got to be you peasants are so stupid that even though I'm not impacted by this, I get to tell you what spell you're under. And it's not you just logically got there, or even you just like this guy better. It's him. He's the con man that has tricked every single person in the world. There's two types of entitled people here in these two clips. Brett is the type of entitled person that is just out of touch and is so in the bubble and so used to a certain way of life that their brain, I'm that way sometimes. I've had friends tell me like, yo, you've been kind of like up for a little too long, but not to that extent. And I'm saying that's because, hey, we've all suffered from something at some point, right? But Brett is the type that has suffered from this bubble that you really think that if someone is giving a critique of American policy of sending trillions of tax dollars to another area where American cities need work because it's not your city where you specifically live, your level of ignorance and bubble is making you not get the message that qualified people that do the groundwork understand far better than you. That person's dumb. The dangerous part about a dumb person is if that dumb person doesn't learn how to be quiet and listen and adapt and go, damn, I was wrong about that. A dumb person that thinks they're smart is doubly dumb and doubly dangerous. So that's one type of entitlement. But this second situation here with Larry David, this is a high science, warlock, manipulative, a type of elitism and white liberal beta shit. And I throw white in there because he just happens to be white and or Jewish. There's a different energy for a black so-called elite, so-called, that energy is different. But in this specific type right here, they are the people that wave the wand. They wave the wand. They are, y'all know the story of Merlin's wand that made illusions. Y'all know the name of the wood that it was made out of? The wand that Merlin used to cast spells and illusions, it was made out of a wood called Hollywood. That's the type of wood that Merlin's wand to illusion and persuade people. Okay? Those are the types of things that those type of creatives, because you're not stupid or that dumb if you're that rich, because I bet you're doing taxes like a damn Republican. So be mindful of the so-called elite, which they aren't really elite. They're just manipulative in a negative sense. The Larry Davids of the world will say all of these things to make you push a certain way, right? And then go, but I'm not impacted by these things. They have to, if this whole spiritual conversation is real, and if it's devils and angels and all of that, I read somewhere that the devils and the demons got to kind of tell you. They got to put it in a movie. You thought it was entertainment. Symbols look like decoration to a person that doesn't speak the language. I want to say that again. Symbols look like decoration only to the people that don't speak the language. There's a great book called Signs and Symbols of Primordial Man that y'all should all look into. Just look into it, maybe. Okay? My point in saying this all to you all is we have to recognize what type of energy and what type of so-called elite, because they're not elite. I want us to stop even using that word. What type of low vibrational energy that would be in opposition to you defending yourself, defending your life, defending your constitutional, supposedly constitutionally protected human rights. What type of energy are you dealing with? And when you got a Brett, you can beat that person back with facts. But a higher level wizard, like an actor, they're called stars. Okay, they in Hollywood, illusions. The people that create the illusions, like a Larry David, that craft stories. Brian, whatever his name is, Brian, my bad, right? Brian Selter. The Larry Davids are the final bosses of the so-called elite types because they pretend like they're just in there. Oh, and no, they're lying. And they tell you, they show you. Larry David was on Saturday Night Live. I want y'all to YouTube it. Larry David was on Saturday Night Live making jokes with Trump when he was running. It's there. Larry David gets up there and says, oh, he's done all of these things to make it look as if they're advocating for the people. But they're shifting the narrative to make your talking point and your fighting stance off balance from the gate. He's destroyed it. First, it's not true. He's destroyed 200 years of a democracy. Oh, he wanted to convince people that they cheated. Again, Patrick Bet-David had a guy on Valuetainment on the podcast, and he hacked into a Dominion voting machine live on air. So that part's a lie. And they go, this is a democracy. Everything to keep you fighting from an unbalanced perspective and playing. Know what type of energy that you are dealing with, solutionaries. And these out of touch, liberal, beta males and females, know what type of vampire you attempting to invite into your house. Because in all of the movies, the vampires can't come in unless you invite them. And if you're unaware that they're a vampire, it's more of a chance for you to invite this thing into your home. Anyway, guys, I'm Maj Toure. I think that's a cool place to wrap up. I will see you all tomorrow. Also, guys, make sure everybody, listen, we on a super duper fundraising kick, okay? We need every single person to donate at the $100 level. I think we need 173 more donors at the $100 level. We're trying to get Texas and California after our Newark class. We got this for the rest of this month. We have St. Louis, Cleveland, and Newark, New Jersey. Those classes are already handled. Huge shouts to NSSF. I want everybody to go over to gunvote.org. Andrew Reister with the $10 super chat. Appreciate you there, Andrew, for the keep it up. I will. Guys, listen, that link right under me, givesingo.com/solutionary. There's 433 people watching the live right now, okay? Watching live. 379 of you are on x.com. 380 of you are on X. 56 of you on YouTube, okay? Obviously, I want everybody to subscribe to all of the channels, follow, turn the post notifications on, all of that stuff on the YouTube channel. Let's get the subscribers up to 35,000. I think we're at 32,000. Anyway, if we can get 10 people to agree to donate at the $100 level, okay? Terry Renee with the $10 super chat. Thank you. GiveSingo.com/solutionary. We need 173 more folks to donate at the $100 level. You get a whole bunch of stuff. You get access to all of the online classes. You get all of the online curriculums. You schedule them at your leisure. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you pick the date that you want to take these classes. You get access to the Solutionary 9 Telegram group, which is a coaching, dry fire drill, accountability, all of that other good stuff. There's thousands of solutionaries in this group across the country, helping people out, pushing each other, holding each other accountable to the standards that we say of the Solutionary 9. On top of that, you get access to your own link to sell the Black Guns Matter merch, like the sweet Freedom Over Everything hoodie. You get a 15 or 20%, I can't remember, 15 to 20%, what do you call it? Percentage or commission. You get access to that, as well as you get access to this Black Guns Matter television show, episode 1, and all of the episodes that will come out in the future as we film them. You get all of that for paying it forward at the $100 level. We need help. We are dangerously at risk of not being able to get it done and continue the free classes. And we do that because of your voluntary donations. We do not accept government funds. That's not our money. It's you guys' money. Okay? So if you guys want to support, you will. Guys, let's get 10 folks. If you want to be one of the 10 folks, be one of the 10 folks. We need 10 folks tonight. As I wrap up, to go over to givesingo.com/solutionary, donate at the $100 level, get access to all of that stuff. You get in 3 classes. And with $100, I can teach 2 students for $100 in person, right? The handouts, the this, the that. So technically, you paying $100 is getting 5 classes, all right? 2 for other folks in person and 3 for yourself. We believe that people that give more should get more, and that's the reason why we're asking you all to get more. Thank you for that, Bookworm. Bookworm said your ear being to the street 2 years ago shows how valuable you are to the culture. I appreciate that, Bookworm. Ryan Jackson, what's up, bro? Hey, Ryan, matter of fact, Ryan did a super chat, too. Let me give him his love for that. Ryan with the $30 super chat. Much appreciated, my brother. I want everybody to go over to givesingo.com/solutionary. Donate, pay it forward to somebody else at $100 or more. Get access. I'm going to send you the email. You'll get access to all of the stuff that I'm doing that we're talking about right now. All of the online classes will come directly to your email. And we need the help, guys. We definitely need the help because we have some solutions, but we need to get more people on board to start learning those solutions and applying them. So anyway, guys, givesingo.com/solutionary. I will see you all tomorrow. YouTube.com/Maj Toure, Rumble.com/Maj Toure, X.com/@Maj Toure 999. Again, I thank you all for tapping in. My name is Maj Toure. I will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Be safe, be solutionary.